This here's the Gories from Detroit, hot off the press. It's gonna jump on you, baby, and it's gonna stain your dress. Here it comes.
In Detroit's case, it has a lot to do with tedium. Especially when I was a kid, when we came along, it was pretty much already over in the early 80s. And there really was just nothing to do. And so we wound up playing music just to have something to do. We picked instruments we didn't know how to play, so that meant that songs had to be stupidly simple in order for us to play them. So if a song had more than 9 notes, it was too complicated. So all the songs have like 8 notes or less in them.
They were like noisy as shit. They were not your rote clone garage rock. More rhythm and blues and soul in their stuff than most of the bands that were sending out demos.
We termed ourselves punk blues because we thought of ourselves as a punk-inflected blues band.
We'd go see the Gories, and every time it was the same thing. They were horrible, but it was great. They were totally out of tune. It was 2 guitars and some broken drums. They had a bass drum, but it didn't have a head on it, and it was just used to hold up the tom.
And now when we do it, everybody knows everybody else, and it's an excuse to go out on a Friday or Saturday night and have a few beers and watch your friends clowning around on stage. Because there's literally nothing else to do in this town anymore. Everybody has a band or a DJ night or a record label just to have something to do.
I want to get me straight out of hand. I want the feel, I want the touch. I think I want it much too much. Do I look as hungry as I don't know how much longer I can do it. Want to stand on the ceiling, scream and shout it. I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop thinking about it. Can't stop thinking about it. Stop thinking about it. Stop thinking about it. Stop thinking about it. Stop thinking about it.
Like I'll go on eBay and just type in Detroit in the records category, and just like the most god-awful stuff that I know is terrible, but if it has a Detroit address on it, I'm like, there's a 1 in 1,000 chance that it might actually be a good single that no one's heard yet, or just no one's caught on to it.
I know people who have moved to Detroit, and after they live here for a while, they kind of have this attitude this is my city, and fuck you if you're not from my city, and this you have very huge sense of civic pride. But I think if you really, really give a shit about the city, that you would welcome anybody who wants to come into the city, as long as they are doing something that's for the city of Detroit.
In terms of people who are doing it, people who are putting out records and playing in bands and running venues, you're not gonna find too many people that you don't know. Everyone kind of knows everyone.
I used to wear big shoes when I breakdanced back in 3rd grade. My brothers would make me go in the basement and breakdance, and if I came upstairs, they'd beat me up. No, they would get down in the basement and breakdance and learn this shit. So I tried to learn how these moves, and I put on some, I don't know, like ZZ Top. How do you breakdance to that? I don't know. We were white. We lived in the suburbs, but
Did you really breakdance to ZZ Top?
No, maybe it was Quiet Riot. Then I go upstairs and let's show your moves. Show me your moves, Tim. What'd you learn down there? Flex your stomach muscles. I'm like, all right. Boom! Man, it sucked. I've been drawing eyeballs since I was able to draw. They just look cool and weird. Kind of how the skull used to be in the 70s.
Timmy's just amazing, all that early Clone Defect stuff that he did blows my mind.
The first Clone Defect single, it's actually the second one. Scissors Chop, in my eyes, is as good as Lexicon Devil or Nervous Breakdown or The Zeros first single or something. It's so good. And he's still doing stuff that's just as good.
I met Johnny, and then maybe September.
It might have been September, yeah.
Like a month later.
I think I have a practice tape from September 03.
And it kind of turned into like a, I don't know, space punk band or something. Punk rock can be negative, but sometimes it's just being sarcastic. There's good hip hop out there and rap music and stuff like that. It just seems like it's so negative. Like they're not saying anything that's important to get people to uprise a little bit. And people need to do that nowadays. And, you know, we're at war and stuff like that. Like back in the day, people were fighting and fighting back and protesting about it. Nowadays, everyone just sits back and plays their Wii and shit. This is a new song called They Came From the Sky. It's about how they keep it all secret from us, that there's probably some kind of mutants under the earth or around us, or from a distant planet. We kind of like to reveal that kind of stuff to everybody. When we actually recorded an album, gone in like our friend's studio in his basement, and we recorded on a 16-track ADAT machine. It was like a basement about this size. I just recorded this stuff. He played like synthesizers and made like weird pedal stuff. So we did like kind of experimental weird stuff.
They're adding new elements, whether that be like, you know, like drum machines or like crazy keyboards or weird effects on your guitars, but the meat of it is still rock and roll.
My dream was always to be able to get like on MTV or like mainstream radio, but like have really lo-fi recordings, like 4-track cassette recordings. So that's my favorite sound medium. So it'd be my dream is just be able to do like a really good 4-track recording that was produced well, but like on a lo-fi format like that, and then be like totally accessible to as many people as possible.
We do everything ourselves in AJ's bedroom. We write the songs there and record them right away, burn them on CDs and give them to our friends, and then start sending them to like record labels after kids in Puerto Rico are like, yeah, this is good.
That's where it comes from, this like home recording idea, but not because they love the sound of tape hiss, but because they love the freedom you have when you can manipulate shit on that level.
Usually mix it myself, dump it onto my computer. It all depends on what you're using. Like I've recorded stuff with Matt Harmon from the Sick Alps, and we dumped onto like another reel-to-reel thing. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but it's fun to try to push yourself.
Something about the homebrewed quality of the music that's good right now in my mind from people I know is what makes it weird, you know? Nobody has any money or good gear for that matter, so not necessarily lo-fi, but just whatever they can pull off, you know?
We're currently using digital recording mediums, but over the years we've gone through the majority of the available types, starting with analog tapes, reel-to-reel decks, and cassettes too. These days it's beneficiary to not only be a recording artist, but also manage the whole process. There's a lot of people out here that can do that on their own. There's such a broad contrast of mediums that you can use to capture your songs and your music.
Well, I would prefer doing it that way than going somewhere and having somebody make me record something 30 times over because it didn't sound good. I think we know what we want to sound like, so I prefer doing it that way. I think that's a good thing.
And now we've kind of gone more in the studio, and I kind of miss doing more like the home recording. We just did a record with our group, the Almighty Defenders, and we did that all like at the girls' house on a 4-track. So I was happy to go back to that.
When I first got really into music, I just really liked to hold records. When you like would pull out a record and like look at the sleeve and hold it while you were listening to it, and then when you took it off, you'd look at the label and you'd be like, oh my God, yeah, totally.
I grew up with records my whole life, so I've always wanted to make records. My reward for being in all the bands, all the records I've made, is walking into a record shop and seeing the record in the store. The whole industry is in sort of a transition period right now where I feel like I'm on really shaky ground.
The problem is major labels refuse to develop a new business model that smaller labels have started upon.
I feel so proud that our albums are put out by In the Red. No one is doing anything remotely close to what Larry's doing. Every band that he does is truly, truly wonderful.
I do some of my own stuff, and I like working with smaller labels, but Larry's been really good to us, so I got no complaints.
There's a lot of people that are interested in making it possible for other people to hear bands that are working hard and doing good stuff.
Douchemaster, working with ex-members of the Carbonas.
Like Not Fun, Hozak, there's tons of great labels right now.
Like Goner. Goner's always going to be putting out the best stuff.
When I first started it, I thought I was, going to put out stuff that no one else was doing. Then other people caught on to that kind of thing, and, there wasn't a need to put out the worst recorded, most, over-the-top type of records or whatever, because there's other people doing it, and kind of changed to just stuff that you wanted to put out.
I got a letter in a U.S. mail, a Xerox receipt shot like the mail. They gave the little bit of a heart attack. Laid in the front yard, flat on his back, with a hole in his head. No one can say that he's got a hole in his head. No one can say.
Obviously, anyone would put out the Box Elders record, but as long as we're putting out stuff we like, if it doesn't sell and we're looking at boxes of it, at least we know it's good. We're not in it to lose money, but we don't want to lose money on stuff that, we just did as a commercial venture or something because we thought this band would be successful. It's not interesting.
There's a lot of guys that own record stores in every city that's been one of their dreams, is to do a label or a studio or whatever. And a lot of the guys that have studios will do their own independent labels as well. So it's pretty easy to find somebody to work with no matter where you are. Have you got it in your stack?
European, and it's not in any.
Okay, then we just haven't printed it out yet.
Show your guts, there you go.
Cool. I think it's really good for bands just to have product out. And the easiest way is, honestly, is to put it out yourself.
Okay. That goes in there. These are all U.S.
Before, we were either dealing with, communicating with people either just through, written notes and letters and faxes, after that. There's more volume now than there used to be, so it's probably takes as much time, but I thank God I'm not having to do it the old way now. It'd be a full-time gig.
They've always done everything themselves. They're still touring more than most bands a third of their age and still enjoying it.
Feelings we thought couldn't die seem to just get strange. Regrets we had no second chance ever to repair. Nothing's so important now, no one really cares.
A lot of times when, especially rock bands, when they get older, they kind of sometimes get cheesy or it doesn't sound as good, but all their records still sound awesome. It's just really inspiring to see them still doing it. It gives me a lot of like hope for the future.
I think that's it. Let's see. This is the coolest van here. This is the old Dead Moon van. It's been parked here for a while.
The Chia Pet. It has its own little light up there, but it's green instead of yellow like our other one.
It came up with the fact that it was an old spaghetti and the meatballs. I cook all kinds of stuff. This is one of them.
In 1954, Kissin' Radio bought this thing. It's the first disc cutter that came to the Northwest. It's a Presto 88. It's the antique from hell. It's supposed to be in a totally clean environment. Not supposed to smoke around any of this stuff. I do everything wrong, okay? My lockers are dirty and I smoke around them, okay? And maybe that's why it does what it does. I told Tootie from the time I've been doing records, I've always wanted to have my own cutter so I could make the levels as loud as I wanted to, because every time I'd send tapes into a company, I get these washed out records. I told these guys ahead of time I wanted volume. They go, no, record will be too distorted, this and that. I go, yeah, whatever. So I knew the only way to get a hot record is to be able to cut the thing yourself. Make it as hot as you want it. I don't give a shit about distortion. I called around and I found out that they had this machine down there. It was totally apart. And the guys go, yeah, we have a disc cutter, but I don't think it works. The owner doesn't want to sell it anyway because it's historical. It cut Louie Louie. And I go, oh, I want this thing so bad. So I asked these guys about 10 times. Couldn't get anybody to sell it to me. So on my 38th birthday, she hands me a card and goes, man, I bought you the disc cutter. Killed me. It's what I always wanted. She got it for $200.
Crosses burn from black and white. We raced across the fields. Freedom was a way of life. Got it if you kill. Fight the vicious anguish. Perish in the storm. Me, I just can't into this. 'Cause you always kept me warm. Let it rain, let it rain. Wash away the pain. Let it rain, let it rain.
A label looks cool, a cover looks different. Maybe there's something in the back of your head you want to find, and you're itching, hoping you're going to find it, and knowing that half the places that you go to, a million other people have dug through this stuff, and chances are you're not going to find it, but when you do, just that rush, that thrill that it gives you. MC5, looking at you, Borderline, original A square. What's rare about this one is the picture sleeve. I think they only made like 500 of these to begin with. Pretty much almost all the picture sleeves got destroyed to the point where there were only maybe 100 picture sleeves left. The best part is, I think I just showed you the bootleg one. There's the original one. And the reason you can tell is the quality of the paper, the pictures on the back. You can see how nice and clean and beautiful that is, and how that's like a pretty shitty photocopy. But yeah, this is the original. This is the rare deal, $750. So that's the most I've ever paid for a record, and I think that's the most I will ever pay for a record.
The second Racers record we put out, they were having their release show. The covers hadn't come in the mail yet, so we're like, fuck, what are we gonna do? So me and Jack decided to stop at the art supply store and get some poster board and fold over a couple things. And we're like, we'll just do 15. We'll do 15 of them. You'll do 7, I'll do 7, and then on the 15th one, we'll collaborate. And we'll sell them for $7 at the show. And we're like, holy shit, that's a crap load of money. $7 for a single at a show. Nobody's gonna buy them. People lined up afterwards to buy them, and all 50 of them sold. Just like a month ago, one of them sold for $10,000. One that I painted, not one that Jack painted. One that I painted sold for $10,000. Fucking insane. So crazy.
You know, you've got bands that have recorded for small little labels, or they do very limited runs, and maybe they are hand numbered, or maybe they're on colored vinyl, and they'll put that stuff out. Oh, it'll sell out quickly, or maybe certain parts of the edition will sell out quickly. Jay Reatard, everybody's familiar with the Matador singles, where they started the first one being in a pressing of 2000 or whatever it was, and they went down from there to include the Deer Hunter split, all the way to the last one that had the Don Perry photographs on them. There were 100 of each of these, and there were 4 total pictures. So I have 3 of the 4 that came out. The one that's upstairs, I actually got through Matador and paid like the nice price of $4.99 or whatever it was. And I think each of these I paid $60 and $80 respectively or something like that. I just wanted this one because it had Home Depot